I pressed my back against the cold metal of the supply closet, willing my heart to stop pounding so loudly. The footsteps on the marble floor were getting closer. Through the crack in the door, I could see polished Italian leather shoes, expensive ones, the kind that cost more than a month's rent for someone like the cleaning lady I was pretending to be. The shoes stopped right outside my hiding spot. My chest tightened. Not now, please, not now. But my body didn't care what I needed. The pain started in my left arm, shooting up like electricity, then exploded across my chest like someone had wrapped steel bands around my ribcage and was twisting them tighter, tighter, tighter. I couldn't breathe. The mop clattered from my hands, echoing in the empty 40th floor hallway like a gunshot at 2 a.m. Hello? Someone there? The door swung open. A security guard stood silhouetted against the fluorescent lights, one hand on his radio, the other reaching for his flashlight. He was older, maybe mid-50s, with graying hair and kind eyes that widened when he saw me crumpled on the floor, clutching my chest. "Jesus, ma'am, are you okay?" I tried to speak, but only a wheeze came out. My vision was tunneling, dark spots dancing at the edges. He was on his knees beside me in an instant, radio already at his mouth. "This is Chen on 40. I need an ambulance at headquarters. Medical emergency." "No." I managed to choke out the word, grabbing his wrist with surprising strength born of pure panic. "No ambulance, please." He stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. "Ma'am, you're having a heart attack. You need—" "Can't." Each word was agony. "Can't let anyone know I'm here." Something in his face shifted. He'd seen desperation before, I realized, recognized it. His thumb hovered over the radio button for one more second, then he released it. Okay, just breathe. Can you do that for me? In through your nose, out through your mouth." His voice was steady, calm, the kind of voice that had talked people through crises before. Military, I thought distantly. Or police. He guided me through breathing exercises while pulling out his phone with his other hand. "I'm not calling 911, he said quickly when he saw my panic spike again. "My daughter's a paramedic. She'll tell me what to do." The next 15 minutes were a blur of pain and fear. Marcus, that's what his name tag said, propped me against the wall, elevated my feet, gave me aspirin from the first aid kit. His daughter talked him through checking my pulse, my color, asking me questions to keep me conscious. "What's your name?" Marcus asked gently. "Victoria," I lied, using the first name that came to my swimming head, the name embroidered on my stolen cleaning uniform, Victoria Santos. "Victoria, you're going to be okay. The pain's easing up a little, right?" It was, marginally. Enough that I could think past the immediate terror of dying right here on the floor of my own company's headquarters. My company. If he knew who I really was, would he still be helping me? Or would he call my executive team, who would rush me to a private hospital and blow my entire investigation wide open? "Thank you," I whispered. He smiled, lines crinkling around his eyes. "Don't thank me yet. You need to see a doctor, a real one, not my daughter on speakerphone." "I can't afford it." The lie came easily. I'd been practicing it for 3 weeks now, ever since I'd stolen a cleaning uniform and started working the night shift in my own building. Perfecting the hunched shoulders, the tired voice, the careful invisibility of the working poor. Marcus's expression softened with understanding, and something else. Sadness, maybe. Recognition. "I get it," he said quietly. "Believe me, I get it. Lost my wife 2 years ago. Cancer. The medical bills." He shook his head. "Bankruptcy. Lost the house. Everything." The shame in his voice was so raw it made my chest hurt again, but this time with guilt instead of cardiac arrest. "I'm sorry," I said, and meant it. "It's why I work nights. Security pays better than day shift, and my daughter needs help with rent." He helped me to my feet slowly, keeping one hand on my elbow. "But you can't keep working like this, if you have another episode." "This job is all I have," I said, which was perhaps the most truthful lie I'd told all night. If I lose it, my son and I end up on the streets. Another lie. My son was safe at my penthouse apartment with his nanny, completely unaware that his mother was currently wearing a scratchy polyester uniform that smelled like industrial cleaner and pretending to be destitute. Marcus studied my face for a long moment, then reached into his pocket. Here. He pressed a crumpled $20 bill into my hand. It's not much, but get yourself some proper food. Those vending machines don't count as dinner. I stared at the money. $20. Probably the difference between him eating this week or not, and he was giving it to me. I can't. Yes, you can. We take care of each other, right? That's how we survive. The words hit me harder than they should have. When was the last time someone had shown me kindness that wasn't transactional, that wasn't because I was Elena Rodriguez, CEO of Rodriguez Technologies, worth $300 million and growing? Thank you, I said again, this time meaning it in a way that had nothing to do with the heart attack. He helped me to the break room, made me sit while he brewed terrible break room coffee. We sat in companionable silence for a while, me sipping the bitter liquid, him eating his packed dinner, a sad-looking sandwich that was definitely homemade. You work on this floor a lot? He asked. Just started this route last week. True. I'd specifically requested the executive floor. It's quieter up here at night. Yeah. The big shots all go home by 7. He chuckled. Except when they have their secret meetings. My attention sharpened. Secret meetings? Oh, you know. He waved a hand. Late-night huddles in the conference room. Very hush-hush. They bring in their own coffee, don't want anyone else around. When does this happen? Something in my tone must have been off, because he gave me a curious look. Every Tuesday and Friday, around midnight. Why? Today was Tuesday. I glanced at the clock. 2:47 a.m. Whatever meeting had happened tonight, I'd missed it by hours. But Friday, just wondering if I need to avoid cleaning certain areas, I said casually. Don't want to interrupt anything important. Nah, they're long gone by the time you're here. But... He hesitated, then leaned forward, voice dropping. Between you and me? Something weird's going on. Weird how? I've worked here 8 years, never seen executives meeting after hours, and the way they look, he shook his head, guilty, like kids who got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. My pulse quickened for entirely different reasons now. Which executives? The CFO, mainly. Miss Walsh. Always got a couple board members with her. Sometimes that accounting director, Bryant. Stephanie Walsh. I'd inherited her from my uncle when I took over the company 3 years ago. She'd been furious when he chose me over her for CEO, but she'd hidden it well behind a professional smile and impeccable performance reviews. But 6 months ago, things started going wrong. Accounts showing irregularities, money moving in ways that didn't make sense. My uncle's old partner had pulled me aside at a charity gala and whispered a warning. Watch your CFO. Something's not right. I'd hired a forensic accountant on the sly. His preliminary report had used words like sophisticated embezzlement and multiple co-conspirators and potential fraud exceeding $50 million. So I'd done the only thing I could think of. Become invisible. If Stephanie and whoever she was working with thought the CEO was oblivious, tucked away in her corner office while they looted the company, maybe they'd get sloppy. And maybe, if I was very lucky and very careful, I could catch them red-handed. You okay? Marcus was watching me with concern. You went pale again. I'm fine. Just tired. He didn't look convinced, but he nodded. You should head home. Get some rest. I'll tell the supervisor you weren't feeling well, had to leave early. No. I need the hours. Victoria. His voice was gentle but firm. You almost died 20 minutes ago. Go home. It'll be okay. Would it, though? If I left now, I'd miss Friday's meeting. Miss my chance to finally get proof of what Stephanie was doing. But Marcus was right about one thing. I couldn't risk another heart attack. Not until I'd finished what I'd started. Okay, I agreed quietly. But I'll be back Friday. Promise. Just promise you'll see a doctor first. I promised. Another lie in a growing stack of them. He walked me to the elevator, made sure I got in safely. As the doors closed, I saw him wave, that kind smile on his weathered face. I leaned against the elevator wall and closed my eyes. 3 more days. I just needed 3 more days. The elevator stopped on the executive level before I could hit the button. The doors slid open. Stephanie Walsh stood there, designer handbag in one hand, phone in the other. She froze when she saw me. "Oh," she said, nose wrinkling slightly. "I didn't know cleaning staff used this elevator." I kept my eyes down, shoulders hunched. "Sorry, ma'am. I'll take the service elevator next time." "See that you do." She stepped in, keeping as much distance from me as possible in the small space. I could smell her perfume, Chanel, the same one I wore. The irony wasn't lost on me. Her phone buzzed. She answered without preamble. "What?" A pause. Her expression hardened. "I don't care what Bryant says. The transfers need to happen before the quarterly audit. If the Rodriguez woman finds out," another pause. "No, she's clueless. Too busy playing CEO to notice actual numbers." The elevator reached the parking garage. I exited quickly, keeping my head down. "Wait," Stephanie called after me. I froze, heart hammering. "Your cart. You forgot your cleaning cart." "Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am." I scurried back like a mouse, grabbed the cart I'd left by the elevator bank, and pushed it toward the service area. Only when I heard her Mercedes purr to life and screech out of the garage did I let myself breathe. Playing CEO. Clueless. The rage that washed over me was hot and bright and clarifying. I'd built this company from my uncle's small tech startup into a major industry player. I'd worked 100-hour weeks, missed my son's birthdays, sacrificed relationships, health, everything. And Stephanie thought I was too stupid to notice she was robbing me blind. Friday couldn't come fast enough. The next 3 days crawled by. I saw my actual doctor, Dr. Patel, was shocked but understanding when I explained what I'd been doing and got medication, stern warnings, and orders to reduce stress immediately. "You're lucky you didn't die," she'd said bluntly. "Your family history, the stress you're under, Elena, this is serious." I knew it was serious. But what choice did I have? Go to the police with my suspicions and watch Stephanie lawyer up, destroy evidence, and get away with it? Go to the board and risk tipping off her co-conspirators? No. I needed proof, solid, irrefutable proof. Friday night, I arrived at headquarters at 11 p.m., dressed again in my Victoria Santos disguise. Marcus was at his usual post in the lobby. "Hey," he said, face lighting up when he saw me. "You're back. How are you feeling?" "Much better. Saw a doctor like you said. Got some medication." It wasn't even a lie this time. "Good, good. Your usual floors tonight?" "Actually, I was thinking I'd do the executive conference room. It's been a week since it got a deep clean." Something flickered in his expression. Tonight might not be the best night for that. "The meeting?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah. Should be starting in about 30 minutes. "Perfect. I'll just do the offices then. Stay out of their way." He didn't look happy about it, but he nodded. "Just be careful, okay? They don't like people around when they're meeting. I'll be invisible. Promise." The executive floor was eerily quiet. I positioned my cleaning cart near the conference room, within earshot but out of sight. Then I pulled out the small recording device I'd bought from a spy shop in Brooklyn, cash only, no records, and tucked it under the credenza just outside the conference room door. At 11:47, the elevator dinged. Stephanie emerged first, followed by 3 board members, Harrison, Winters, and DeLuca. Then Michael Bryant, our chief accounting officer, looking nervous. I pushed my cart down the hallway, head down, the perfect invisible worker. "You!" Stephanie's voice cracked like a whip. "What are you doing here?" I kept my posture submissive. "Just cleaning, ma'am. We have a private meeting. Leave, now." "Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am." I pushed the cart toward the elevator, got in, and hit the button for the 39th floor. As soon as the doors closed, I jammed the emergency stop button. From my pocket, I pulled out my phone and opened the app connected to the recording device. Crystal clear audio flooded through my earbuds. "Ridiculous that we have to deal with cleaning staff," Stephanie was saying. "I specifically told building management no one on this floor after 11 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays." "Forget the cleaning lady," Harrison's gravel voice cut through. "Do we have the Cayman account numbers or not?" "Everything's ready," Bryant said. "The final transfers will happen Monday morning. 52 million, spread across 12 offshore accounts. By the time anyone notices, The money will have bounced through enough shells that it'll be impossible to trace. And Rodriguez? That was DeLuca, our longest-serving board member, the man who'd been at my uncle's side for 20 years. My uncle had loved him like a brother. Still clueless, Stephanie said, and I could hear the smile in her voice. She thinks she's so smart with her precious tech innovations and her diversity initiatives. Meanwhile, we've been bleeding her company dry for months. What about the forensic accountant? Winters asked nervously. I heard rumors she hired someone. Taken care of. I sent him a payment from a shell account with Rodriguez's forged signature. If anyone looks, it'll seem like she hired him to help hide her own embezzlement. She'll take the fall for everything. The casual cruelty of it took my breath away. And her shares? Harrison again. Once she's arrested, charged with fraud, the board can vote her out, declare her unfit. With our majority, we can dissolve her voting rights, force a sale of her shares at pennies on the dollar. Then we restructure, sell the company, and walk away with hundreds of millions. To destroying the Rodriguez legacy, the clink of glasses, they were actually toasting the destruction of everything my uncle had built, everything I'd worked for. I was shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. Monday morning, Stephanie continued. The transfers happen at 9 a.m. By noon, the anonymous tip goes to the SEC. By 5 p.m., she'll be in handcuffs. By end of business Tuesday, this will all be over. Monday morning, 3 days from now. I had 3 days to stop them. My chest was tightening again, that familiar pressure building. I fumbled for the nitroglycerin pills Dr. Patel had prescribed, put one under my tongue. Breathe. Just breathe. I had the evidence. I had their confession on recording. Now I just needed to get it to someone who could actually do something about it. But who? The board members were compromised. The police would need warrants, lawyers. By the time everything was sorted, the money would be gone. And Stephanie was right. With the forged evidence she'd planted, I'd look guilty as hell. The elevator lurched beneath me. I'd forgotten I'd stopped it. Someone was trying to override the emergency stop. I quickly released it, and the elevator continued down to 39. When the doors opened, Marcus was standing there, looking worried. Victoria, you okay? The elevator got stuck. I'm fine. Just hit the wrong button. But I wasn't fine. I was very far from fine. He studied my face. You look like you've seen a ghost. Maybe I had. The ghost of my company's future, bleeding out on an altar of greed. Marcus. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. If you knew something bad was happening, really bad, and you had proof, but you didn't know who to trust, what would you do? His expression grew serious. This about those meetings? I nodded. What did you hear? I couldn't tell him everything. But maybe I could tell him enough. They're stealing, I whispered, from the company. Millions of dollars, and they're going to frame someone else for it. His jaw tightened. The CEO. How did you... I'm not stupid, Victoria. I've worked here long enough to know when something's rotten. He ran a hand through his gray hair. You sure about this? You have proof? I patted my phone. Recording. Clear as day. Then you need to go to the police. FBI, maybe. This is federal crime territory. By Monday morning, it'll be too late. The money will be gone, and I'll, the CEO, will be arrested for fraud. He was quiet for a long moment. What do you need? I need to get into the main server room. Bryant said the transfers are programmed for Monday morning. If I can access the system, I might be able to stop them or at least trace where they're going. The server room requires executive clearance. I know. And it's monitored 24/7. I know that too. Marcus shook his head slowly. You're not just a cleaning lady, are you? My heart stopped. What? The way you talk. The way you handled that heart attack, most people panic. You gave me specific symptoms, knew exactly what was happening. And now you're talking about server access and fund transfers like you understand enterprise systems. He took a step closer. Who are you really? The lie died on my lips. I was so tired of lying. If I tell you, you won't believe me. Try me. Elena Rodriguez. The words felt strange coming out. I'm Elena Rodriguez. I own this company. The silence stretched between us like taffy. Then, incredibly, he laughed. Not a mocking laugh, a surprised, almost delighted laugh. You're serious. Deadly serious. The CEO of Rodriguez Technologies has been scrubbing toilets for 3 weeks. When you say it like that, it sounds insane. It is insane. But he was smiling. It's also the gutsiest thing I've ever heard, and it explains a lot. You believe me? My wife used to clean houses for rich people. She told me once, "You can tell everything about a person by how they treat someone they think is beneath them." His smile faded. Miss Walsh? She treats cleaning staff like we're furniture, invisible, beneath notice. And me? You said thank you every time I opened a door, apologized for the elevator, asked about my daughter. He shook his head. Rich people don't do that, not unless they've been on the other side. Relief flooded through me, so intense I felt dizzy. So will you help me? Help you break into your own server room? Ma'am, Elena, I could lose my job. If I don't stop them, there won't be any jobs. They're going to destroy the company. He studied me for a long moment, then sighed. My daughter's got student loans, medical school. If this company goes under, it won't, I promise. How can you be sure? Because I've rebuilt this company once already, and I'll do it again if I have to. But first, I need to save it. He was quiet for a heartbeat. 2. Then, the server room shift change is at 4 a.m. The monitors go to a backup system for exactly 3 minutes during the switch. It's the only window we've got. Thank you, I whispered. Thank me when we're not in federal prison. The next 4 hours were the longest of my life. We planned meticulously. Marcus would handle the security cameras, loop the feeds during the critical 3 minutes. I'd use my CEO credentials, which Stephanie didn't know I still had, active on the system, to access the server room and lock down the transfer protocols. At 3:57 a.m., we moved into position. Marcus gave me his jacket security clearance badge sewn into the sleeve and his radio. Once you're inside, you've got exactly 2 minutes. After that, the system comes back online and flags any executive access during off hours. 2 minutes to save my company. No pressure. His answering smile was grim. See you on the other side. The server room was a cathedral of blinking lights and humming processors. I pulled out the laptop I'd stashed in my cleaning cart earlier, my personal system, fully encrypted and plugged into the main terminal. My fingers flew across the keyboard. Bryant had buried the transfer protocols deep, disguised them as routine maintenance scripts. But I wrote half this system. I knew every back door, every hidden pathway. There, the transfer sequence. Scheduled for 9 a.m. Monday, just like they'd said. $52 million, split across 12 accounts. I could cancel it. One keystroke, and their entire plan would fall apart. But then they'd just reschedule. Try again. And I'd be back where I started. No, I needed to do more than stop them. I needed to trap them. My phone buzzed. Marcus, 1 minute. I created a new sequence, a mirror of theirs. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., their transfer would initiate exactly as planned. But instead of going to offshore accounts, it would route to a holding account I controlled. Every dollar traceable. Every transaction logged. And I added one more line of code. An automatic alert to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division triggered the moment the transfer attempted to execute. 30 seconds. I hit save, pulled the cable, wiped my access history. 20 seconds. Shoved the laptop in the cleaning cart. 10 seconds. Out the door, down the hall, around the corner. The lights flickered back to full power. I heard voices from the security office, Marcus speaking calmly to the day shift supervisor, just arriving early. I was cleaning a window when Stephanie stepped off the elevator at 6 a.m., impeccably dressed as always. She didn't even glance at me. Monday morning, I woke up in my own bed for the first time in weeks, showered in my own bathroom, put on a Tom Ford suit that cost more than Victoria Santos made in a month. My son was eating breakfast when I came downstairs. "Mom, you look pretty." "Thank you, baby." I kissed his head, breathed in the scent of his shampoo. "Mommy has an important meeting today." "Is it the bad people?" "Smart kid. Too smart." "Yeah, baby. It's the bad people." I arrived at headquarters at 8:30 a.m., walked through the lobby I'd scrubbed just days ago, took the executive elevator I'd been banned from using. Marcus was at his post. Our eyes met briefly. He nodded, almost imperceptibly. My office felt strange after so long away. Too clean, too perfect. At 8:55, my assistant buzzed. "Miss Rodriguez? There's a Miss Walsh here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's urgent. Send her in." Stephanie swept into my office, all confidence and designer clothing. "Elena." "Good, you're here early. I need your signature on some routine transfer authorizations. Just housekeeping, but compliance needs the CEO's sign-off." She slid a folder across my desk. I didn't open it. Transfer authorizations. Routine stuff. New vendor accounts. Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting, I repeated. Just routing $52 million to offshore accounts. The color drained from her face. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." I leaned back in my chair. "You're talking about the theft you and Harrison, Winters, DeLuca, and Bryant have been orchestrating for 6 months. The money you plan to steal today. The fraud you were going to pin on me. You're insane. I'll have the board. The board that's been helping you? That board?" I smiled, and it wasn't pleasant. "Check your watch, Stephanie. It's 9 a.m. Her phone buzzed. Then again, and again. She looked down at the screen, and I watched her face cycle through confusion, horror, and rage. "What did you do?" "I stopped you. Your transfer initiated exactly as planned. But instead of going to the Cayman Islands, it went to an FBI holding account. Every dollar traced. Every co-conspirator identified. You can't prove. I have recordings. Every word from Friday night's meeting. And here's the beautiful thing. I have your forged evidence too. The payments to the forensic accountant you tried to pin on me? I found them all. But I left them there. Why would you?" Understanding dawned. "You wanted them to think it worked. If I'd exposed you too early, you would have destroyed evidence." Turned on each other, lawyered up. "This way?" I shrugged. "You all committed federal wire fraud this morning. Actual, prosecutable, there's no way out fraud." Her phone lit up again. Then the desk phone. The office was chaos. I could hear shouting from down the hall. "The FBI is probably in the building by now," I said conversationally. "I gave them a heads up about 8:45. Wanted to make sure they'd be here when you all incriminated yourselves." Stephanie's hands were shaking. You were the cleaning lady." "I was." "How long?" 3 weeks. You walked past me 17 times, insulted me to your co-conspirators 4 times, dismissed me like furniture every single day. If you're so rich and powerful, why didn't you just fire you, sue you, use my resources?" I stood, walked to the window. Because that's what rich people do, isn't it? Throw money at problems, hire expensive lawyers, never get their hands dirty. I turned back to face her. "But I learned something these past 3 weeks, Stephanie. I learned that the people you dismissed, the ones you treated like they were invisible, they see everything, they know everything. And when you're kind to them, when you treat them like human beings, they help." "The security guard," she whispered. "Oh God, the security guard. Marcus saved my life. Literally, I had a heart attack on your precious executive floor. And when I needed help, when I needed someone I could trust, he was there." The office door burst open. FBI agents in windbreakers, badges held high. "Stephanie Walsh, you're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy." I watched them read her rights, watched her face cycle through denial and rage and, finally, defeat. As they led her out, she turned back to me. "Why? I would have run this company better than you ever could." "Maybe," I agreed. "But you forgot something important." "What?" "This company isn't just about profits and stock prices. It's about people. The 7,000 people who work here. Their families. Their futures." I smiled. "And I'll burn in hell before I let you destroy what my uncle built." After they were gone, I stood alone in my office. The city stretched out below me, thousands of windows reflecting morning sun. My assistant buzzed again. "Miss Rodriguez? There's a Marcus Chen from security here. He doesn't have an appointment, but..." Send him in immediately." Marcus walked in, still in his security uniform, looking uncomfortable in my plush office. "You did it," he said simply. "We did it. I just looped some cameras. You saved my life. You helped me save my company. You trusted me when I had no right to ask for trust." He shifted his weight. "So now what? You go back to being CEO, I go back to night shift? Actually, I was thinking you might consider a promotion." "Ma'am? Head of security." The position just opened up. Turns out the previous head was helping Bryant cover his tracks. Salaries 6 figures, plus benefits. Your daughter could quit her weekend job, focus on medical school. His eyes widened. "I don't have a college degree." "You have 8 years of experience, a military background, and you know this building better than anyone. Plus, you're one of 3 people in this company I trust completely." I held out my hand. "What do you say?" He stared at my hand, then at me, then back at my hand. "My daughter's not going to believe this. Tell her to thank her mother. If she hadn't talked you through those heart attack symptoms, none of this would have happened." He took my hand, shook it firmly. "One condition." "What's that?" "No more pretending to be cleaning staff. You gave me 3 heart attacks in 3 weeks." I laughed, the sound surprising me. "Deal." That evening, I went home to my son, put him to bed, read him his favorite story, kissed his forehead. "Did you catch the bad people, Mom?" "Yeah, baby. We caught them." "Good," he yawned, eyes already closing. "Are you going to work so much now?" The question hit harder than any of Stephanie's schemes. "No," I said, surprising myself with the truth of it. "Not as much. I learned something important." "What?" "That the most important things aren't in corner offices or bank accounts. They're in moments like this." He smiled, already half asleep. "That's good, Mom. I like when you're home." "Me too, baby. Me too." I left his room and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Supervisor just told me about tomorrow. First day as head of security. Still can't believe it." I smiled and typed back. "Believe it. You earned it." Another message came through. This one from my lawyer. "FBI's case is airtight. Walsh and co-conspirators will likely plead out. You're clear on all charges. Company's reputation intact." Intact. We'd survived. No, we'd done more than survive. We'd won. And I'd learned something that no MBA, no boardroom experience, no corner office could have taught me. That real power isn't in your title or your bank account. It's in the connections you build, the people you value, the kindness you show when no one's looking. Stephanie had seen cleaning staff as invisible. I'd seen them as human. And in the end, that made all the difference. 3 months later, the trial was over. Harrison, Winters, DeLuca, Bryant, and Stephanie all took plea deals. Combined prison sentences, 43 years. The company threw a celebration. I stood at the podium, looking out at 7,000 faces, employees I'd fought for, people whose livelihoods I'd saved. 3 months ago, I said, this company nearly died. Not because of market forces or bad products or any traditional business reason. It nearly died because people got greedy. Because they forgot that a company isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's people. It's families. It's futures. I scanned the crowd until I found Marcus, standing near the back in his new suit, head of security, earning every penny. Someone asked me recently why I didn't just use my resources to solve this problem. Hire investigators, expensive lawyers. And the truth is, I tried that first. It didn't work. I paused, letting the words sink in. What worked was getting my hands dirty, seeing my company from the ground up, understanding how the people who keep this place running actually live, actually work, actually struggle. So here's my promise to all of you. This company will never again be a place where some people matter and others don't, where executives ignore the humans who make everything run. Starting today, we're implementing new policies. Profit sharing for all employees. Healthcare that actually covers families. Childcare on-site. And a direct line to my office for anyone who sees something wrong. The applause started slowly, then built like a wave. This company survived because someone was kind when he didn't have to be, because people who had no reason to trust me did anyway. Because at the end of the day, We're all just trying to take care of our families and do the right thing. After the speeches, after the celebrations, I found Marcus by the buffet table. "Good speech," he said. "Good company," I replied. "Thanks to you. Thanks to us." "Yeah," I smiled. "Thanks to us." My phone buzzed my son's nanny, reminding me about his soccer game. "I have to go," I said. "Mom duty calls." Marcus grinned. "Go. Be a mom. Company will still be here tomorrow." I walked out of headquarters into the autumn evening, briefcase in one hand, car keys in the other. 3 months ago, I'd been scrubbing floors and hiding in closets, fighting for survival. Today, I was just a mom going to watch her son play soccer. Both were victories. But I knew which one mattered more. And maybe, just maybe, that was the real lesson in all of this. Not about fraud or justice or corporate salvation, but about remembering what actually matters, even when everything else is falling apart. I made it to the soccer field just as the game started. My son waved from the field, face lit up with joy. I waved back, phone silenced in my pocket, work forgotten for the moment. Some lessons, I thought, you can't learn in a corner office. Some you have to learn on your knees, scrubbing floors at 2 a.m., trusting a stranger with your life. And some you learn right here, watching your kid play soccer, remembering why you fought so hard to begin with. The game ended. My son scored a goal. We got ice cream. It was, I decided, a perfect day. And tomorrow, when I went back to work, I'd remember this. Remember what I'd learned wearing that polyester uniform. Remember Marcus's kindness and trust. Remember that at the end of the day, we're all just people trying our best. And sometimes, that's enough.